Sachiputra Atasrupam Rupam Tasagajam Vipurim Maturim Gostvatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Radhika Madhvasvam Prabhu Yasya Pratitapaya Shri Guru Tam Natos Gurave Gaurachandrayo Radhikaya Tadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Bhaktaya Namo Namah Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya Hemapadivyascha Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhaktya Vina Aparada Lakshe Jivkashta Kamaditarangamadhi Kripa Mahitvam Sharanam Prabhana Vrinde Namaste Charanarabindam Vrinde Namaste Charanarabindam Govinda Damo Dharamadaviti Govinda Damo Dharamadaviti Govinda Damo Dharamadaviti Govinda Damo Dharamadaviti Hey Krishna Hey Yadava Hey Saketi Govinda Damo Dharamadaviti Sham Sundar Shikanda Shekhar Smraha Smurali Manora Radhikaras Kamama Kripanidhe Supriya Chana Kinkarim Kuru Tavaivasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Dhivikyaya Devi Tam Nayamam Charanantikam. First of all, I sustain Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev. Asmade Paramarada Tuma Guru Pada Padma, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashtotara Satasi, Rupanugacharya Varya, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to my Paramasti Gurudev, my Parakpara Gurudev, Paramparakpara Gurudev, and all the members of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas, Panchakalpatrubhas, Kripasandubhyavacham, Vaishnavas. You are the adherents, the followers of the philosophy of onomatodoxy. Onomatodoxy. This is the English word that means that the name of God and God Himself are non-different. philosophical term in English is onomatodoxy. So, Srila Rupa Goswami Pada said, Vacham vachakam mitudeti bhavato nama srupa dvayam purvasmat parameva hantakaranam tatrapi jinamihe yasmin vihitaparada nivaha vani samantas bhavet asyani damu pasasopi hi sadanandam mudo majjati. That see, Krishna has two swarups, Vacha, Vachakam. That means Vacha and Vachakam. That means who is referred to by the name and the name itself. These are the same. Vacha, that which is to be spoken, and Vachakam, that which is named. So the name, Nam and Nami. The name and the person who is named. These are two swarups of the one absolute truth. But of the two, Purvasmat Parameva Hantakaranam, the former is more merciful than the latter. Even though Sri Krishna himself is Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Krishna is an ocean of mercy. But still, if one commits some offense to the Swarup of Krishna, which manifests in this world as Vigraha, Krishna in his deity form, then you cannot get the mercy from his direct form, Shama Sundar form, playing a flute. But Krishna in the form of the holy name is easily available to everyone everywhere. And by chanting the holy name, Nama Parada Yukthanam Nama Nyeva Harantyagam, even if someone has offenses to the Vigraha of Krishna, the Swarupa of Krishna, or even has offenses to the name of Krishna, but if he will just go on chanting again and again, continuously, that Nam Prabhu himself will free that person from all offenses to the form of Krishna and also to himself, to the name. And then he will turn that person with his head down and feet up and plunge him into the ocean of rasa. This is the... Therefore, the holy name of Krishna and Krishna, though they are non-different, but there is still a difference, that is, Krishna's name is more merciful than Sri Krishna. So, one should begin to chant the holy name with the abhinna bhav, abheda drishti, that is, seeing that this name and God, they are non-different, onomatodoxy. And chanting with this faith, one will progress very nicely. But even if a person has no faith, still the name will act. Because Nam has his own Vastu Shakti, his own inherent potency, which will act whether you know or don't know. So, to teach all the various tattvas in regard the truths concerning the chanting of the holy name, before the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu caused the appearance of his eternal associate, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. So we know that Lord Brahma has appeared as Srila Haridas Thakur. And it's also said that Prahlad Maharaj has appeared as Srila Haridas Thakur. And it's also said there was one Brahmin named Brahma Mahatap. So he also appeared as Srila Haridas Thakur. So that means by Krishna's Stapini Shakti, various personalities are established within the body of Srila Haridas Thakur. During the avatar Kal, during the time of his appearance in this world. So, when the Srila Haridas Thakur passed away from this world, holding the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu on his heart, and calling, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna. Then everyone fell silent, like birds at the end of the day. And they all remembered the passing away of Bhishma Dev. Because Bhishma Dev had the siddhi of Swachandra Mrityu, that he could pass according to his own desire. So Srila Haridas Thakur also left according to his desire. Actually, Mahaprabhu didn't want him to leave. When Srila Haridas Thakur said, I cannot bear to see the final chapter of your pastimes, allow me to leave first. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Oh Haridas, it is not right for you to ask for this. Because in my life, whatever happiness I've experienced, it was only by your association. Srila Haridas Thakur said, My Lord, on this planet there are millions of ants. If one of them dies, then what loss is it to the world? So he thought himself like an insect. So Mahaprabhu was silent. And he went to it, then the next day he came back doing kirtan with all the devotees, and by his own will, Srila Haridas Thakur left. That means that when there's a conflict, or apparent conflict due to rasa, between the desire of the Lord and the desire of the Lord and the desire of the devotee wins. Swaicha mayasya, natu bhuta mayasya kopi. We were discussing this morning. Supreme Lord's appearing and doing his pastimes according to the desires of his devotees. Krishna is under the control of his devotees, but the devotee is not under the control of Krishna. He is Parama Swatantra Bhagavata. Parama Swatantra Bhakta Bhagavata. Supremely independent. So, you should understand that when Srila Haridas Thakur passed away from this world, then Lord Brahma, who was in him, returned to Satyalok, went up to Satyalok. Prahlad Maharaj, who was with him, went down to the Sutalok, where he lives with Bali Maharaj, his grandson. Like this. So the personalities who were in him, they left and went in different directions of the universe. But the original Haridas Thakur is a Nitya Parika of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is not Brahma, not Prahlad, not Brahma Mahatap. He is Haridas Thakur. He just became aprakat and entered back into the unmanifest pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Nitya Navadvip Dham. So, the eternal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Haridas Thakur, appeared in this world before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he performed pastimes in such a way that if you will hear about them, if you will glorify him, then the Shuddha Naam must appear on your tongue. So if you want to chant purely, without any offense, and experience the nectar of Naam, there is no sadhana greater than hearing, chanting and remembering the glories of Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur, because he has appeared and performed Leela especially to grant that benediction to all the living entities by the will of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, perhaps you know that when he appeared in the village of Burdwan, and there in Bengal, yes, and he was always chanting the holy name. He had appeared in a Brahmin family, in a Muslim family, which were considered outcasts from the Vedic society. But because he was constantly chanting the name of Krishna, because his mind and his words would never ever be attracted to any other topic at all. And because when he would chant the holy names, he was overwhelmed with astonishing divine ecstasies. His whole body would become wet from his tears. His hairs were standing on end. He would tremble, he would become stunned. He would faint and roll on the ground. He was so extraordinarily beautiful. He had long arms reaching down to his knees. Nyagrodha parimandala, the symptoms of a Mahapurush. He had very beautiful lotus eyes. And the sweetness of his lotus face was incomparable. So though he was outside of the Vedic culture, even the Brahmanas, when they saw him, seeing his qualities, then they all used to bow down and give honor to him. His qualities were undeniable. So because everyone was respecting him, the local magistrate, the Qazi, the Muslim magistrate, he became very envious. So he went to the Muslim king, and the Nawab, and he complained, we should arrest this Haridas, so-called Haridas Thakur, because he has given up our Islamic religion and he's following the religion of the Hindus. So this is a big insult, this is a blasphemy, this is punishable by death. If we don't punish him, then others may follow his example. So then the magistrate had Srila Haridas Thakur arrested and he was carried away. So then the good people, they were very sad. Oh, this is very inauspicious. Why are they punishing him? So the Qazi brought Srila Haridas Thakur in front of the king. And the king said, "You are born in a very high-class family. Why are you practicing this religion of these useless, degraded Hindus?" But they think like that. So he said, there is only one God. Everyone is worshipping the same God. Only they call him by different names. And that's one Supreme Lord lives in the heart of everyone and inspires them to worship him. So each person is worshipping him in the way that the Lord in his heart is inspiring him to worship him. So he is inspiring you to worship in this way, and he is inspiring me to worship in this way by chanting the holy names of Krishna. So if you think that there's any fault in me for this, you may punish me as you like. So then the king, he was actually somewhat moved by the words of Haridas Thakur. He thought he's a wise man. So he wasn't inclined to punish him. But the Qazi was very vicious and wicked. And he said, we'll have to set an example for everyone else. Otherwise it will make a big disturbance in society. The king said, what should we do then? Oh, he should be beaten with canes in 22 marketplaces. So then the soldiers came and they put him in prison. When he was in the prison, there were actually good people there who had been imprisoned by the Qazi. And they were very happy. Oh, Haridas Thakur is coming to prison with us. That's very good news for us. If we have his darshan, we'll become free from all our karmas and all problems. So all the prisoners, they surrounded Haridas Thakur and they bowed down to him. And they prayed, please give us a benediction. Srila Haridas Thakur said, Thakur, Thakur. Means, remain as you are now. Then they became upset. Here we are, prisoners in the jail, and we ask for a benediction. He says, remain as you are now. Srila Haridas Thakur, don't be upset. What I mean is this, that seeing me, you bowed down and you remembered Krishna. And you prayed for Krishna's mercy. So I want you to stay like this, always in a humble mood, begging for Sri Krishna's mercy. Remain like that. Said, you are lucky being here in this prison, because together you can all chant the holy names together. You have no other responsibilities. If you were outside, then you would have money and independence, and you may take intoxication and fall into bad association and ruin your life. Whereas here, you can. There's no alcohol here. There's no meat here. You cannot break the regulative principles here. It's good. And together you can chant the holy names in a humble mood, depending on Krishna. So always stay in that frame of mind. Even when you come out, the frame of mind that you have now, humbly begging for Krishna's mercy, always remain there. Thakur, Thakur. Stay as you are now. And he said, don't worry. After a few days, you'll all be released. So, Haridas Thakur, now his sentence was passed. It was time for his beating to take place. So the soldiers, they bound his hands and they began to drag him from one marketplace to another marketplace. And the soldiers, they were beating him with sticks. And he was being cut. He was bleeding. His bones were broken. It was very gruesome. And seeing it, the good people, they could not tolerate. Some of them, they began to spread the discontent, speaking in a way against the rulers, to try to stir up discontent amongst the people so that they could have a revolution against the Nawab. And others approached the soldiers who were beating him with money and said, look, don't beat him so hard, here's some money. And they tried to bribe them, not to hit him so hard, just play, act like you're beating him. So after dragging him through 22 marketplaces, still Haridas Thakur, actually, he was completely in bliss. He did not experience any pain whatsoever. Vaishnavera jata deki bhyavar duk nisjajaniya se parananda suk. Srila Vrindavan Thakur said, whenever you see a pure Vaishnava is experiencing worldly suffering, you should know for certain that they are actually experiencing parananda suk, the transcendental bliss. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, his father had him, the soldiers attack him with swords and spears, threw him in front of tigers, poisonous snakes, stampeding elephants, put him in fire, gave him poison. But Prahlad Maharaj was always in a state of bliss, because he was completely transcendental. So don't think Srila Haridas Thakur is some historical personality, that he was some Muslim person from the 16th to 15th century. No. Srila Haridas Thakur is a Satchidananda, an associate of God, who was manifested in this world by the Lord's mercy to bring us into the path of chanting Shuddhana. He was only praying that those that should beat him, that were beating him, that they should not suffer for their offenses. After 22 marketplaces, they were afraid. They said, oh Haridas, if you don't die, then the Qazi will kill us. Srila Haridas Thakur said, oh, if my being alive is giving inconvenience to you, then I will die. I don't want to inconvenience you. And he went into Samadhi. He has all siddhis, all mystic power. And he went into Samadhi. So in his Samadhi, his breathing was very, very slight, very long breaths. So no one could tell that actually he was still alive. They thought now he's dead. And they brought his beaten body in front of the king to prove that he had died. The king said, okay, go and bury him. The Qazi said, no, don't bury him, because then you'll get a good destination. Because they believe that if you're buried, you can have a good destination. Just throw his body in the Ganges. He can be eaten by fish. And then he'll suffer forever. So then the gods, they dragged him to the shore of the Ganges, to the bank of the Ganges. And his body was sitting there on the bank of the Ganga. And at that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vishwambara Mishra himself, who had not appeared in this world, entered into the body of Srila Haridas Thakur. And he was just in complete ecstasy. He didn't know if he was on the earth, in the water, in the sky. And when the soldiers tried to pick him up, he was as heavy as the earth. Because Vishwambara, who nourishes the entire universe, has entered into him. Even elephants would not be able to move him. And he was just in bliss. And they couldn't understand what happened. So then Supreme Lord allowed them, and they threw his body in the Ganga, and he was floating. But he was completely beyond the bodily conception of life. This is what it means to chant Hare Krishna. Our consciousness is completely, rigidly stuck into this external framework of reference. The physical body, which actually has nothing to do with us. Srila Vishwanath Thakur said, the sambandha that you have with your body is like the sambandha between a rabbit and his horns. Have you seen the horns of a rabbit? Why not? Because rabbits don't have horns, right? So that is a Sringa Shashi Sambandha, the relationship between the horns of a rabbit. That is the Sambandha that you have with your body. Do you believe it? Huh? Huh? It's shocking to us. We think, what is he talking about? Prem Prayojan became mad. Why is he saying this thing? But this is a fact. It is only by the influence of avidya that we think that ourselves, being Mamaivangso Jivaloki Jivabhuta Sanatana, eternal part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Paramatma Parikareshu. Srila Jiva Goswami said, all the jivas are to be counted among the parikars. You are parikars of Paramatma. All the atmas, they are the parikars of Paramatma. His associates, they are his Vaibhav. Just as the associates in the spiritual world are the Tadrupa Vaibhav of Krishna. So we as jivas are the Vaibhav of Paramatma. So what relationship can we have with earth, water, fire, air and ether? Nothing. This physical body. Only avidya gives us, by avidya we have that impression. And Sat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapti Vidya Pitopatattu Rasanasya Charochikadu Kintuadarad Anudinam Kalusaiva Justa Swadvikramat Bhavati Tat Gadamula Hantri. The holy name of Krishna is sweet like sugar candy. But because we have avidya, it's like jaundice, so it tastes bitter to us. You are sitting chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna. When can we stop chanting? This is going on too long. Actually, the name of Krishna is so sweet. Maduram, Maduram, Etan Mangalam Mangalanam, Sakamalikam Satpalam Chitsarupam, Sakridapi Parigitam Sadaya Hilayava, Vigobharanarmatram Tayat Krishna Nama. The holy name of Krishna is the sweetest of the sweet. But because of this avidya, we're thinking, oh, it's not flavorful. But by chanting every day with great honor, then the avidya, by which we think we have a deha, we think there's a deyatma sambandha, a relationship between our body and soul. Then this avidya is destroyed. And the degree to which that avidya is destroyed, to that degree ruchi, taste in the astonishing Shuddha Naam, Chinmay, Shuddha Sattva Swarup of Sri Krishna in the form of Naam. That taste will awaken. So, Srila Haridas Thakur, he did not feel anything. He did not know anything even. And his body was floating in the Ganga, and after some time he came back into external consciousness. Sadhaka Vesh. And he climbed out from the Ganges river, and he was completely healed. He had not a scratch. He was very young and handsome and beautiful. So then he went to the nearest village and everyone saw him. Ah, Haridas! We all thought that you were dead. Anyone who remembers the bliss of Srila Haridas Thakur during his beating will become free from all misery. Whenever you're feeling miserable, just remember the ecstasy of Srila Haridas Thakur that he experienced during the beating, and all your misery will just be lifted completely. So the word spread that Haridas Thakur was still alive. So then the king and the Qazi also, Navaban Qazi, they thought, oh, he must be actually a peer. Peer is a Farsi word, Farsi language of the Muslims. It means like a saint, a holy man. So the Chan Qazi, not Chan Qazi, the Qazi and the Nawab, they went there to see Srila Haridas Thakur and they bowed down to him. And they said, you are really a peer. We know. There are so many Gyanis and yogis and they speak big words, but you are actually a divine saint. We understand. Please forgive us. Please forgive us. Srila Haridas Thakur said, there is nothing to forgive. Nothing to forgive. So afterwards he went to the village of Fulia. He was staying there. And many Brahmanas came and they would have kirtan with him. And they asked him, how did this happen? That you were beaten? Srila Haridas Thakur said, actually, this was a reaction for my offenses. Because I had listened to criticism of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. So, don't think that speaking a criticism is only an offense. Just listening is an offense. Just listening. Said, so because I heard someone doing ninda to the Supreme Lord and his associates, therefore I had to experience this reaction. But I think that this was a very small, I should have had a much worse reaction. But Krishna, out of kindness, only gave me a token reaction, just to remind me that I'll not commit the same mistake ever again. So, this pastime is well known to the devotees. But the tattva of this pastime is very mysterious. In this case, Srila Haridas Thakur, he cannot be undergoing any karma. He cannot be undergoing any karma. Why? Yad Brahma Sakshat Kritiniste Abhi Binashamayeti Binana Bogai Apeti Namas Puranena Tate Prarabdha Karmeti Vivorti Veda. You have aparabdha karma which you will experience in your future lives. And you have prarabdha karma you're experiencing in this life. So if a person will realize Brahman, and they're expert at going into Samadhi and seeing the light of Nirvishesh Brahman, experiencing that Brahman realization, then their aprarabdha karma of future lives is gone. But even intense meditation on Brahman cannot remove even one leaf from the tree of your prarabdha karma. So those persons, even though they are in one sense mukta purush, in the sense that they've realized Brahman, but they still have to undergo the karmas of this life. But Viroti Veda, the Vedas loudly declare that as soon as the holy name, the very first moment the holy name appears on a person's tongue, even Nam Abbas, then all their prarabdha karma even is finished. So how much superior is the mercy of Nam Prabhu to any other process? So first of all, we should know that Srila Haridas Thakur has no prarabdha karma at all. So his suffering cannot be due to this. Secondly, he cannot commit any namaparad. He cannot commit any offense. He cannot hear any offense or any. So what he was saying, he was out of humility to teach us not to hear any offense. Otherwise, being whipped in 22 marketplaces will be a very small amount of suffering compared to the suffering that comes from hearing the ninda to Krishna and his devotees. To teach this. And also to teach us, when the Qazi said to him, you should give up chanting the Hindu name of God, otherwise we'll punish you severely. Then Srila Haridas Thakur said, Kanda kanda hoye deya jai chari pran, tabu ame padanena chari harinam. You can cut my body into 1,000 pieces, and I may give up my pran, but my tongue will never stop chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So, Srila Haridas Thakur is doing this pastime to teach us to never, ever stop chanting, even in the most adverse circumstances, even in the greatest difficulties. Never give up chanting. So, in this regard, Srila Haridas Thakur's being beaten is exactly like Hanuman being captured by Indrajit. Perhaps you know, Hanuman jumped across the ocean and he went to Lanka to discover Sita. And there when he found Sita, then he told her, come with me, I'll take you to Lord Ram. Sita Devi said, no. Ram should come here and he should rescue me himself. So then Sita Devi gave the Hanuman a ring. So as a token that he could show to Lord Ram to prove that I've actually found Sita. So then Hanuman, before he was leaving to go back to Lord Ram, he thought he would have some fun. So he started smashing the trees in the Ashok garden. And so then the Ravan, hearing news of the disturbance, he sent so many of his associates to go and catch Hanuman, but Hanuman killed them all. They were not successful. So in the end, he sent his son Indrajit. So Indrajit has the Brahmastra weapon, the weapon of Lord Brahma, very, very powerful. And he came, and when he saw Hanuman, then he fired the Brahmastra at Hanuman, and Hanuman was bound up by that Brahmastra. Now actually, Hanuman cannot be bound by the Brahmastra. He is so powerful. He is more powerful than Lord Brahma or any of his astras. But out of respect for the Brahmastra, then Hanuman, he just accepted it. He accepted being bound. Why? Because he wanted, if I am taken captive, then they'll bring me into the court of Ravan. Then I'll see Ravan face to face. And I'll give him a piece of my mind. So he wanted to have an interview with Ravan. So when he was bound by the Brahmastra, then the soldiers of Indra came with ropes and also bound him with ropes. Now, there's a rule that if you bind someone with the Brahmastra, if they're bound by anything else, then the Brahmastra becomes nullified. And the Brahmastra can only be used once. So when the soldiers of Indrajit bound Hanuman, then Indrajit looked and saw, oh, now my Brahmastra, it cannot bind. He didn't know that Hanuman can be bound. He thought he was really bound by that. But now he realized, Hanuman cannot be, he's not bound by this Brahmastra. It's become nullified now. And these feeble ropes he's bound with, he's not really bound by that. So this Hanuman is just pretending. And at any time, if he'll break out, then we're all finished. So then Indrajit brought Hanuman into the court of Ravan. And Hanuman gave Ravan a piece of his mind and broke out, and then he just burnt Lanka down. You know this pastime very well. But what is being illustrated here is just as Hanuman is not subjective to the binding of Indrajit and his soldiers, but he accepted that in the service of the Lord. So in the same way, Srila Haridas Thakur was not beaten in 22 marketplaces. No one can beat him. But he mercifully accepted that. While being situated in transcendental ecstasy, he outwardly accepted that only to give a teaching to us, the people of the world, that we should never ever neglect the chanting of Hare Krishna, even in the most adverse circumstances. And we should never hear the ninda, the blasphemy of Sri Krishna or his devotees. This is the tattva of this lila. So, afterwards, Srila Haridas Thakur, he was wandering here and there, chanting the holy name in great bliss. And one day, by chance, he came to the house of a wealthy person, where a performance was going on. So this performance, it was a snake charmer. Means, they're called sapakshata. Sapakshata means, one meaning is bitten by a snake, but the other meaning is possessed by a snake. Now you have to understand snake charming tattva. Snake charming tattva means that the snake charmer, he has his band of musicians. One, like Bhima Krishna is playing tanpur, one's playing flute, others are playing mridanga. He has all of his musicians. And then the snake charmer actually chants mantras to invoke Vasuki. Vasuki is the king of all the snakes. So then Vasuki comes and enters into the snake charmer. And then he dances and he makes all the other snakes dance, because it's not the snake charmer who's making the snakes dance. They're dancing in obedience to their king, Vasuki, who has appeared there and possessed the snake charmer. This is the tattva of snake charmers. You know the pastime, once Radharani was bitten by the snake of separation from Sri Krishna. So Sri Krishna disguised himself as a snake charming girl and came there and then called the king of the snakes to order the snake that had bitten Radharani to release the poison. Like that. So then there's a conversation between Krishna and the Vasuki, the king of the snakes, and outside Jatila and Kotila are listening. You know this pastime from Chamatkar Chandrika. So this pastime is based on this tattva that the snake charmer actually becomes possessed by Vasuki. So this snake charmer with his musicians, he wanted to sing a song glorifying Krishna, how he is the Adikala Guru, the original Guru in all the arts. And demonstrating his skills was dancing so beautifully on the heads of the Kaliya serpent. So the snake charmer was going to sing a song about this, chant the mantra, be possessed by Vasuki, and then make all the snakes dance in unison so it looks like the heads of Kaliya. Like that. And the musicians will play and do kirtan of Krishna, and it will entertain everyone. But what happened on this day, very mysterious, Srila Haridas Thakur came. So, when the snake charmer began to sing and glorify Krishna, instead of Vasuki entering him, Anantadev entered into him. He's even the king of Vasuki. So Anantadev is the Shesh, Ananta Shesh, Guru Tattva, Adi Guru Tattva. So now the Ananta Shesh was actually doing kirtan of Krishna. So when Srila Haridas Thakur saw the udipan of the dancing heads of the snake and hearing Anantadev himself, Guru Tattva, glorifying Krishna in the kirtan, so then Srila Haridas Thakur was overwhelmed in ecstasy. And he walked forward and he was weeping, he was trembling, his hairs were standing on end. And he became stunned and fell to the ground and he was rolling in the dust. And then he got up And he began to dance really artistically, because when the devotees have become absorbed in Krishna, sometimes there's an anubhav called Leela, where they imitate his pastimes. So now Haridas Thakur was dancing so beautifully, and the snake charmer just moved to one. The snake charmer should be doing the performance, right? But he moved to one side where the musicians were, with folded hands, and he was just singing and just watching the ecstatic dancing of Srila Haridas Thakur. It was just such an incredible moment. And everyone who was there, they could feel the presence of Krishna there in the kirtan. Why? Because of onomatodoxy. Krishna and his name are non-different. When you become absorbed in kirtan, then you can experience reflected on your chitta. Chitta vihara davata jaya jaya sundara nanda kumar. Sundara Nanda Kumar, the beautiful son of Nanda Maharaj, comes and reflects himself on the hearts of all those who are in the kirtan. So everyone was feeling divine ecstasy. And so then when Srila Haridas Thakur finished dancing, all the people in the crowd, they rushed forward and they were giving pranam and they were taking dust from his feet. So then, when Haridas Thakur moved to the side, then that snake charmer again, he came forward and continued it was his turn to continue his performance, like that. So there was one Brahmin in the crowd who was envious and full of duplicity. He thought, look at all these people giving respect to this outcast person, just because he made a show of some spiritual ecstasies. I'm a Brahmin, they should respect me more than him. So then that Brahmin, he went pompously dancing into the middle, and then he fell on the ground, Krishna, Krishna, and he was rolling in the dust. So everyone felt sick seeing him. And the snake charmer took a stick and just started whacking him. Whack, whack! So he wasn't like Haridas Thakur, who didn't know whether he was in the sky or on the earth or in the water. He just started going, ow, ow! And was calling out, oh mama, oh mother, oh father, father, save me. And he quickly got up and ran away. So then after he ran away and the performance was over, then the people who were there, they approached the snake charmer and they said to him, please tell us why when Haridas was dancing you stepped to one side, but when that Brahmin came, who is very respectable, aristocratic from a high caste, then you just hit him with a stick. Why is that? So then the snake charmer said, actually the question you have asked me is very confidential, extremely secret. It is a great mystery. But because you have asked me sincerely, then I am bound to reveal to you this confidential truth. So then, that snake charmer began to glorify Srila Haridas Thakur. Why? Because Ananta Shesh was still within him. It wasn't the snake charmer speaking. Don't think these pastimes this is like some pastime in a village in Bengal. These are eternal associates coming from the spiritual world, and all various great personalities are appearing in different ways. So Ananta Shesh has come and possessed that snake charmer. He said, the singing and dancing of Srila Haridas Thakur was transcendental. It's the vilas of bhakti, pure devotion to the Supreme Lord. And pure devotion only appears in the hearts of those who are akaitava, free from cheating, free from hypocrisy, free from duplicity. But that Brahmin, he was not dancing to please Krishna. He was making an external performance to try to aggrandize himself, to get the honor and respect from the ignorant common people. So therefore, he was duplicitous, and in the hearts of those who have duplicity, then bhakti and Krishna himself, they stay very, very far away. They never go near that person. On the other hand, Srila Haridas Thakur is a divine personality. He is not only here now, but And wherever the Supreme Lord appears in the universe, Srila Haridas Thakur descends and is there with him. When Srila Haridas Thakur dances, it gives pleasure to Krishna himself. Krishna himself wants to see the dancing of Srila Haridas Thakur. His love is so powerful that even Parameshwara, who controls the whole universe, is controlled by the love of Srila Haridas Thakur. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva, they want to have the darshan of Srila Haridas Thakur. All the people of the world, they go to the Ganges to take bath to purify themselves. But the goddess Ganga Devi is begging for Srila Haridas Thakur to come and take bath in her waters to purify her. He is such a personality that anyone who will see the dancing of Srila Haridas Thakur will be liberated from this world. Not only that, if anyone will just see a person who has taken shelter of Srila Haridas Thakur, that person who sees the person who has taken shelter of Srila Haridas Thakur will be delivered from this world. He is such a personality that if someone will just chant, Thakur Haridasa, Thakur Haridasa, Haridasa, Thakur Haridasa, Thakur Haridasa, Thakur Haridasa, Haridasa, Thakur Haridasa. Those who will chant the name of Srila Haridas Thakur, then it is sure that very soon they will attain Krishna Prem, the highest goal of life. Then that snake charmer said, even if Anantadev with 1,000 heads were to speak the glories of Haridas Thakur for thousands of years, he could not come to the end of his glories. So I have just mentioned just a little of the glory of Srila Haridas Thakur. You are all fortunate, and you have made me fortunate because you asked this question and gave me a chance to glorify him. And then that snake charmer, he fell silent. And the Avesha of Anantadev disappeared. And all the people went home. And their chittas were expanded. They were just... everyone was in complete bliss. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. So here, we should know that Anantadev, Guru Tattva, wants to glorify the pure devotees. So, if you want to be purified, then engage your tongue in glorifying the transcendental Vaishnavas. Those who will glorify the Vaishnavas, then Anantadev will possess them. And then that person will become Guru. Understand? Because they are possessed by the Guru Tattva. Aho Bhataswa Pachacho Kariyan Yad Jivakre Vartate Nama Tupyam. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that even a Chandala outcast born in a dog-eating family, if the holy name will just appear on the tip of his tongue, that means not the whole name, just krit, krit. You see when you say krit, the tip of your tongue goes like this. The tip of it goes like that. Krit, krit. As soon as the holy name, just a krit appears, then Gariyan. Gariyan, you know what Gariyan means? Guru, Gariyan, Garista. You know, like you have good, better, best. So you have Guru, Gariyan, Garista. Heavy, heavy, and heaviest. So, Aho Bhataswa Patato Gariyan means more than Guru. The moment just a syllable krit of the pure name appears on your tongue, then that person becomes not only a Guru, or even more than Guru. Gariyan. So, these are some of the pastimes of Srila Haridas Thakur. One day, Srila Haridas Thakur, he was in a very learned assembly. And one Brahmin there was puffed up. He was disturbed. What is this Haridas Thakur doing? Loudly chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And making others chant. This is completely bogus. This is completely bogus. Where is it said in the Shastra that you have to chant loudly? Everyone knows that the name of God you should just do japa in your mind. Everyone knows why you have to chant loudly. Is God deaf? You have to chant so loudly because he can't hear. This is foolishness. Not only that, but it's disturbing to him, calling his name all the time. Right? Let him have some peace. I was calling him. If your phone's ringing all the time, it's like, turn it off. Things like that. And what about Chaturmasya? 4 months of the year, Shravan, Bhadra, Ashwin and Kartik. These 4 Vedic months of the year is Chaturmasya. Shravan, Bhadra, Ashwin and Kartik. So at that time, in the first day of Shravan, then Lord Vishnu goes to sleep in Yoga Nidra. Right? So for 4 months, and then on the Uttanu Kadasi, that means he wakes up. At the end of the Chaturmasya. So, the Supreme Lord is sleeping at that time. So all these people are making offense. They're chanting Hare Krishna during Chaturmasya and during Kartik. The Lord's trying to sleep and they're all trying to wake him up. So then the Lord will be angry with us and he'll send a famine. There'll be food shortage. Another person says, yes, if the price of rice goes up in the marketplace, I'm going to punch this person. If he makes the price of food go up because of chanting during the Chaturmasya. So many people, they were in ignorance. Others were saying, look, you don't have to keep chanting the names of God. What's the point in that? Because in your life, everyone just experiences their karma. You're under karma, and even God is under karma. Everyone's under karma. God can't give you more or less than the karma, the fruit of your work that you've done. So what's the use of this chanting? Waste of time. So there are so many ignorant persons. They had all these philosophies which were anti-onomatodopsy. Against the worship of God in the form of His name, in the Nama Swarup. So, there was a bad atmosphere like this. So there was one Brahmin, he was from that section of the society. And he was envious of Srila Haridas Thakur because so many learned persons were respecting him. So one day, he came to Srila Haridas Thakur and he said, why are you doing this loud chanting? This is against the scriptures. What evidence is there that you should chant loudly? Better to just chant in your mind. So then, Srila Haridas Thakur, he said, no. Actually, all the scriptures give the conclusion that one who chants the holy name loudly gets 100 times more benefit than the person who chants in their mind. Why? Because those who are saying you should chant in your mind, they are the agents of Kali. Why? Because in Srimad Bhagavatam it says, Kriteya dhyayato vishnam traitiyanya jato makai dwapare parichayanam kalotad hari kirtanat. The Dharma of Satya Yuga, the golden age, is silent meditation. The Dharma in the Treta Yuga, Yajato Makai, is the performance of fire sacrifices. The Dharma in Dwarpa Yuga is Paricharya Seva, that is Archan, serving the deity in the temple. And the Dharma of Kali Yuga, by which everyone can be delivered in this Kali Yuga, this age, Iron Age, is the loud chanting of the holy names. So those who try to spread the Yuga Dharma of Satya Yuga and stop the loud chanting, which is the Yuga Dharma of the Kali Yuga, then they are the agents of Kali Maharaj. Because they are actually going against the Yuga Dharma. Understand? So, Srila Haridas Thakur said, those who chant loudly, they get 100 times more benefit. And then, he quoted this verse. Now, can everyone see? You can shine your torch on the verse. We can chant together. Yannama grihan akilan srotrin atmanamevacha sadhya punati kimbuyas tasya sprishta padahite. So, this is a very beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 34. Perhaps you know that once the Shivaratri was coming. So the Brijbasis, they set off, they went to Ambikavan to worship Lord Shiva at that time in Ambikavan. And after the worshipping Lord Shiva at night when they were sleeping, Nanda Maharaj was sleeping, and a snake came out of the forest and began to swallow the lotus feet of Nanda Maharaj. So his feet were in the throat of the snake, and he was calling, "Krishna, Krishna, save me!" And Krishna immediately ran there, and just as he was running, the snake was very long, and his foot touched the tail of the snake. And just by the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna, then from this snake's body, the personality was cursed to become a snake, manifested. And it was a beautiful young Vidyadhara, a beautiful young demigod boy named Sudarshan. So Krishna said, "Who are you?" And Sudarshan began to explain that I am a Vidyadhara. My name is Sudarshan, and I was proud of my beauty. So once I saw some sages in the line of Angira, and they were very kind of homely. They were, not very handsome. They were a bit ugly. So I was laughing and I made some jokes at their expense. So they cursed me to become a snake. But now I see that their curse was not a curse, it was a benediction. So at that time the Vidyadhara Sudarshan began to glorify Krishna, and he said this verse. Means, Yan Nama. Yan means whoever. Nama, your name. Grinan, while taking. Grinan means accepting. This is very interesting. Very often Vaishnavas don't say, we don't chant the name, but we take the name. That means that we open ourselves to accept the appearance of Nam Prabhu. So Yan Nama Grinan. Well, those who, while taking the name, Akilan Srotrin. Akilan means everyone. Srotrin means those who are hearing. So all those who hear that person's chanting, Atmanam Eva Cha. Cha means and, Eva certainly. Atmanam means himself. Sadhya Punati. Sadhya means immediately. Punati, purifies. In other words, any person who, while chanting the name, immediately purifies everyone and purifies himself. Kimbuyas means what more can we say? Tasya sprista padahite. What more can we say of one who has been directly touched by your lotus feet? So the meaning here is that the Vidyadhara is about to request Krishna's permission to go back to his planet. So he's saying that because I've been touched by your lotus feet, by your touch I've been purified, now I'm going to go back to my planet and I'll sing the holy names, and anyone who hears this name and anyone who touches me because I've been touched by you, also they will be purified. So I want to go on Nagar Sankirtan in Vidyadhara Lok. Spread your glories and help everyone. So Srila Haridas Thakur, he quoted this verse and he said, look, what person is the superior? A person who works and maintains himself, or a person who works and maintains himself and thousands of others also. So this is the difference between chanting in the mind and chanting loudly. That person is hundreds of times more virtuous and purifies himself and others. One of the reasons for this is that when you want to vibrate a sound, then that sound begins in the Mooladhara chakra as a movement of pran. There's a movement of pran in the Mooladhara chakra. Just you desire to speak, and first there's a vibration of pran in your lowest chakra, Mooladhara chakra. That is a subtle form of sound called para. And then that vibration of pran in the Mooladhara chakra moves up the Sushumna Nadi and comes to the Manipurak chakra. And then it manifests on the level of manas, a vibration in the level of mind caused by the movement of pran. And that that level of sound is called pasyanti. So para pasyanti, then that vibration moves up to the anahata chakra and manifests in your buddhi, in the heart. Now the sound is actually taking a shape. Before it was Nad, Brahma. Only the non-distinguishable form of the elementary form of the vibration. But now it takes in the heart the form of the name Om or Krishna. So in the Anahata Chakra, now that that form of the name is recognized by the intelligence in the heart, and that level of sound is called the Madhyama. And then that vibration of Pran comes up to the Vishuddhi Chakra in the throat and causes the vocal cords to vibrate. And then the vocal cords move the air, and then that releases from the Akash the element of sound. And then there's the element of sound that the ear detects. So sound has 4 levels: Para, Pasanti, Madhyama and Vaikari. The last level is called Vaikari. So with the ordinary person, when they vibrate a sound, then this vibration of the Pran coming from the Muladhara Chakra is a Prakrit. It is the action of the Kriya Shakti. It is coming from the mode of passion. But when a pure devotee vibrates the name, it is the appearance of Aprakrit Pran, Krishna himself. And he's manifesting through all the in your Pran, in your mind, in your intelligence and on your tongue. By his mercy, Atasi Krishna Namadi Nabhavat Grenendriyai Sevan Mukhi Jivado Swayameva Spuratada. Actually, the holy name is Nikila Praman Parichaya Jagotara. Means it is completely inaccessible by any method of knowledge or investigation. It is Van Manasa Gochara, not perceivable by the mind or by words. That is the actual holy name. But when a person just repeats the syllables, they try to repeat the syllables. Now you are showing that you are ready, you are Sevan Mukh, you are ready to serve. So then Nam, in the form of the Aprakrita Pran, he just begins to manifest from within and takes over your body, mind, senses, intelligence, everything. That's called Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. You see? So before the name even comes out of your mouth, it has already taken control of your mind on the way up. And then when the sound goes in your ear, when you hear something, then the sound also makes a reaction in the mind as well. So on the way up and on the way back in again from hearing, so then your mind is completely held by Nam Prabhu. So the yogis are trying to control their mind by silent meditation. But after years and years, Uddhav was saying, after years and years, they become exhausted and they give up. But simply by articulating the syllables, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Automatically, without any effort, the mind is perfectly controlled. And therefore, in this, the unqualified persons of Kali Yuga, there is no other way for them to achieve this samadhi, trance of absorption on Sri Krishna. And we cannot say that, because everyone is unqualified, therefore in Kali Yuga, Kirtan is the Dharma because it's accessible to them. No. Kirtan is the best Dharma even in Satyayug. It always was the best Dharma. But in Satyayug, the persons are so qualified, they're actually qualified to do meditation. And they just can't develop the Shraddha, they can't develop the faith that something so easy can give the highest result. So because they're qualified to do a difficult thing, they can't put their faith in something easy because everyone knows that something which is difficult is valuable and something which is easy is worthless, right? So that's the truth in this world. If you just work hard for one day, you can earn a few dollars. If you work hard for 20 years, you can have millions of dollars. Like this. So everyone knows you work hard for a long time, you can get something valuable. But something which is easy, that's nothing. But that's not true of the holy name. That's not true of the chant. Astaspandana matrena kirtanam bhavati. Just by moving your lips and tongue, then you are doing kirtan. And that kirtan is the best method. It produces a samadhi which is deeper than the samadhi of the Paramahamsas doing silent meditation for 100,000 years in Satyuga. So Srila Sanatana Goswami said, Vachi swayukte manasi sruto tata devyat parangap upakurva matpravat. That simply by uttering the holy name, the mind is automatically controlled without any effort, and not only are you purified, but everyone who hears your chanting is also purified. So, when Srila Haridas Thakur said this, then that Brahmin, he was disgusted. He thought, what is this? This Muslim, this outcast, he never went to school, he never studied Vyakaran, grammar, he never studied Kavya, poetics. I'm a Brahmin, he never studied the Vedas. What is this? So that Brahmin, he was very puffed up. He said, oh, look what's going on. Indeed, it's Kali Yuga. Huh? Now even a person who's lower than a Sudra has become a Darshanik. A Darshanik, a great philosopher. You know who is Darshanik? Gautam Rishi, Kanad Rishi, Kapil Rishi, Patanjali, Jaimini, and Vyasadev. That means the sages who have manifested the 6 classical philosophical systems of Vedic culture, the Saddarshans, they are Darshanik. So that Brahmin was saying, and now look at this. Before there were great sages gave the Saddarshan, but now this outcast has given the 7th Darshan. He's become the founder of the 7th Darshan, this crazy loud chanting sampradaya. So he insulted Haridas Thakur. And he said, look, if this is not the conclusion of the scripture, I'll cut off your nose. So then Srila Haridas Thakur, he just fell silent. He didn't say anything. And he got up and left. And those Brahmanas who were there, actually those Brahmanas who were there at that particular time, they were not devotees. So they neither supported Haridas Thakur or supported the other one. They were just tolerating the situation. So this is a very popular thing. A person tries to show how advanced they are by tolerating. No, this is not Vaishnavism. If someone speaks apasiddhanta, Rasa basiddhadi hoy siddhanta virod, sahitina pari Prabhu mani hoy krod. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is tanadapi suni chaina tarori vasishnana. More humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, but he cannot tolerate apasiddhanta. If someone will speak against the conclusions of the Vedas, if someone will speak rasabas, then Sahitina pari Prabhu, he cannot tolerate. Mani hoy krod, he would become angry. So trying to make a show of how tolerant you are, how open-minded and egalitarian you are, this is just duplicity, this is bogus. Where there's apasiddhanta and rasabasa, if you are not disturbed and you don't say something, then this is offense also. So, but they sat there and they just let it go. So they were full of duplicity, they were offenders to the holy name and to the Vedas. Srila Haridas Thakur immediately got up and in ecstasy, Hare Krishna, Hare, he was chanting the holy name and he left that place. Then a few days later, that Brahmin, he contracted a disease on the end of his nose and his nose fell off. So then after that everyone was giving pranam to Srila Haridas Thakur. They all respected him. So, this is the verse on the board here that Srila Haridas Thakur quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is glorifying the loud chanting of the holy name. So, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad and Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad have written very beautiful commentary on the significance of each of the words of this verse. So, they're saying, Yan Nama, Yan Nama Grihan, who takes the name, whoever takes the name. Here, the word Nam is in the singular. So that means that by just once chanting, the first name you chant purifies you and anyone who hears it. Just like Ajamil. Don't think that at the moment of death when Ajamil called out Lord Narayan, that chanting finished his karma. No. The day that his son was born, and he decided, your name is Narayan, that name destroyed all of his karma. The first name, one name. So, And that time Ajamil, he had no faith in the name even. So, Vastu Shakti Nahi Buddhira Pekshate. Vastu Shakti means when something has its own inherent potency, it doesn't depend on your intelligence or your understanding. It's independent of your understanding. This is why we become so happy. We go here and there, we tell everyone and we begin to sing and people just start, they don't know anything. But only seeing them chant, they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what is happening, what will happen to them now in their life. They were just one day sitting somewhere and they heard kirtan and then the next time they find themselves sleeping in a tent at the top of a mountain. Washing their clothes in the river and using a compost toilet. Leaving all the comforts of their palatial homes. Why? Because holy name is now taking over their life. Their previous karmas have been destroyed and they're being slowly bought, incorporated by the mercy of Guru and pure Vaishnavas, being incorporated into the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This Guru Parampara is an extension of Gaura Lila and they're being incorporated into that by the power of the holy name. So, the statement, by once chanting the holy name, a person purifies himself and others, means that if someone makes an argument that chanting the holy name requires prior faith, that it requires philosophical deliberation, knowledge of Sambandha Gyan, your relationship with the Lord, and there's no need to chant the holy name unless and until a person has that correct philosophical understanding and they've developed faith. That argument has been refuted by the words Yan Nama. One name, bas. None of those prerequisites are necessary. So if one is offenseless, even if he chants the name to indicate something else, like all the devotees here, you all have names of Krishna. Braj Mohan. Any new person comes here, they don't know anything. But they say, what's your name? So Braj Mohan. What's your name? Madhav. What's your name? Dina Sharan. What's your name? Madhavi. What's your name? Aristanasana. Like that. So, they're not saying the name to refer to Krishna, they're saying to refer to some person they just met. But still, it's Sankatya. Sankatya api tadvirsha prabhavaha. Means that even when you say the name to refer to something else, it still has the prabhav, the power, the influence to destroy your karma and even manifest the form of Krishna in your heart. To give jatiti pratita, an immediate vision of Krishna. So Sankatya, parihas, if someone just chants the name of Krishna as a joke, ha ha ha, these Hare Krishnas. It often happens, we go on Nagar Sankirtan and some drunk persons are there with a can of beer in one hand, and a scarf of their football team in the other. Right? Just like now, we were just in St. Petersburg, so the World Cup was going on in Russia, right? So you're not allowed to do Nagar Sankirtan in the streets in Russia. So we rented a boat, a big open-top boat with about 50 devotees and a big loudspeaker system and mridangas and everything. And we did kirtan in a boat going around all the rivers in the middle of St. Petersburg. It's all canals like Venice. So we went everywhere and on the sides of the river and over the bridges. All the football fans were there with the wigs on in the color of their Mexican football team. And they see the devotees and for a joke there, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Shastra said, if someone's standing only for a joke, even, no, their karmas are destroyed and even those who are listening to them, they also get purified. So Kansanitya parihas, for joking. Stobha. Stobha means for musical entertainment. Sometimes there's a gap in between the lines of the song, and what singers do is sometimes they just interject the name of God in the gap and do some alap on it, Sita Kamala Kuta Mandala. Then there's a gap. So you just sticking on Hari Sita Kamala Kuta Mandala. Dhritakundala, Dhritakundala, Kalitala, Lita Banamala, Jaya Jaya Dev Hare. Another gap. Hare Hare, Jaya Jaya Dev. So like this, sometimes singers, just if there's a gap in the melody, they throw in a holy name and just do a do some alap, some modulations there to decorate their song, like that. So this is Tobha. And Hela. Hela means neglectfully, just without any concentration. Someone just neglectfully says the name. So as long as there's no present of offense, then at once the holy name works. One name will purify that person or other. So Yan Nama. Now we come to Grinan. Grinan is in the present tense. It means while chanting. In other words, this purification takes place not when you finish chanting, but while you are chanting. Nrisinga Pamana Sri Madhusudana. Madhusudana, the 5 syllables. So let's say you're chanting the name Madhusudan. Madhusu, but you don't finish it. You got distracted. You didn't finish. But you're purified while just in the act of chanting. You don't have to wait until you finish the name and then you get the result. It's immediately going on as you're saying the name. So this is the meaning of Grinan, that while chanting, that is in the present tense, it refutes the argument that the names are dependent on completeness. That you have to complete the name, or even that you have to chant it with the proper pronunciation. So if the name is chanted improperly, unclearly, or even incompletely or partially, still it purifies you and everyone who hears. That is the significance of Grinan. Yanama Grinan. Now we're going to the next word, Akilan. You have to love our acharyas. Jiva Goswami, Sanan Goswami, they explained how they relish every single word of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's quite astonishing. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad ki jai. Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad ki jai. So then, Akilan. Akilan means all. So Akilan Srotrin. Srotrin means the hearers. Everyone who is hearing, they all get purified. So this word refutes the argument that chanting is dependent on some qualification. For example, if you're doing some Vedic ritual, you have to take a bath. You have to perform austerities. You have to worship in a particular way. You have to maintain purity. You have to do it properly after studying the Vedas. Some persons, they accept sannyas, renounce order. Some do yoga sadhana. And some do other pious activities to become qualified for certain activities. But the chanting of the holy name is such, if someone hears it and they haven't taken a bath, they didn't do any austerities, they haven't taken sannyas, they didn't do anything, they just touches their ear and they become purified. This is the significance of Akilan. It refutes the argument that their prior qualification is necessary. So then, Akilan Srotram. Then the word Sadhya. Sadhya means immediately. Immediately. So the word Sadhya refutes the argument that chanting is dependent on time. In other words, there are certain mantras, like Gayatri mantra, Anik, it should be done in the morning, sunrise, in noon, and in the evening time. There are certain rituals that's supposed to be done at certain times of the year, or not done at certain times of the year, like Chaturmasya and so on, Malmas. Any Karma Kanda rituals are not done in the Malmas, Purushottam Mas, and so on. So, in many activities, there is some niyam, a rule and regulation in regard to time. But the word sadhya means immediately, at any time, at once. That refutes that the holy name has any limitation according to regulations according to time. Nam namakari bahudani jasavatatis tatrapita niyamata smarane na kalaha. There are no regulations in regard to time or place or circumstances. So then, the word Srotrin. Srotrin means the hearers, the audience. So this indicates that everyone should try to hear. The purification comes from hearing, simply. The contact of the name with the sense of hearing is called Sravana. So, this now the word Eva is there. The word Eva means Eva. Here Eva means Eva. Eva can mean certainly. But in this case, it means Eva means like. Sotin Atmanam Eva means that the person who hears is purified in exactly the same way as the person who chants. It's not that the one who chants gets more purification than the one who hears. Here, Eva actually means Eva. So, Trinatmaname Eva. So, both get purified. So, in this way, the glories of the holy name have been further enhanced because both hearing the name and chanting the name yield the same result. This is the significance of the word Eva. So this is a very beautiful verse spoken by our Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, taking Praman from the Amala Praman, the spotless perfect Praman of Srimad Bhagavatam, glorifying the holy name. So all devotees, they should do vichar, deliberate on the glories of the holy name. Learn these verses and say these verses glorifying the name, to propitiate the name, to give mercy. And in this way, by hearing the glories of the name, then we begin to chant in a way which is free from offenses. This is very important. Of different types of Sravan, there's Nam Sravan, Rup Sravan, Gun Sravan, like this Parikar Sravan, Leela Sravan, hearing Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes. So the first thing is to hear the name, and also to hear the glories of the name. Because by hearing the glories of the name, one develops a Shraddha, very strong faith. Because although Namabhas, these just like the Ajamil, he chanted Namabhas, it destroyed his karma, but it didn't give him bhakti. It didn't give him pure bhakti. But when he chanted the name, his karma was destroyed and he had the darshan of the Vishnu Dutas. Then he saw the Vishnu Dutas glorifying the name to the Yama Dutas. So by hearing, that means they were like his Nam Gurus. By hearing the glories, overhearing the glories of the holy name from the Vishnu Dutas, then Shraddha came in his heart, faith in the name. So now it was not his time to die. He'd been given a second chance and he left his home in Kanya Kumari and he went to Haridwar, and there he stayed in ashram with some sadhus and he began to chant with firm saddha in the name, because he'd heard the glories of the name. And then Shuddha Nam appeared, not Namabhas, Shuddha Nam, pure name. And then he went to the spiritual world. So this is very important. It often happens these days that devotees get ahead of themselves. They do a lot of talking about Radha Krishna's Leela, but they don't even know the basic glories of Nam Prabhu. And because they don't know the basic glories of Nam Prabhu, then they can give a speech like, oh, what do we think of when we chant the holy name? This is the $1 million question. So what you have to do is, when you're mumbling the holy name, you should speculate and imagine Krishna's Leela. This is the real way forward. Right? People just tell these things. I heard very recently such katha. So this is completely bogus and apasiddhanta. So don't try to go too fast and dive into the higher realms, trespass into the realms for which we are not qualified. We should hear something about the beauty of Braj and Krishna, so we know what is our goal. But there should be some balance in our hearing and chanting. This is why hearing and chanting is done under the guidance of Shri Guru, because Shri Guru knows how to give a very healthy diet to the disciples. That all the different tattvas, Nam tattva, Praman tattva, Guru tattva, Jiva tattva, Bhakti tattva, Rasa tattva, Lila tattva, all these tattvas are there in the right proportions so that the students can advance very nicely. So now you have heard, deliberate on this Siddhanta and loudly chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande.
Question, Maharaj, one question.
Yeah, what's the question?
The question is,
Wait, Narad Muni, please calm down. Yeah.
speaking about Madhyama and Vyakari.
Yes.
So, I've heard from some good devotees that you should try to chant on the level of Madhyama. So, is there any qualification required to chant on the level of Madhyama? And also,
You mean the level of sound of Madhyama, you mean, or on the level of Madhyamadikari?
No, not Madhyamadikari, the sound of Madhyama.
Okay, whoever that devotee is, my pranam to him. But my millions of pranams at the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami said, Tan nama rupa charitadi sukirtananu smritjokramena rasana manasi niyod. What does rasana manasi mean? That the tongue should be engaged. So if you only chant in the Madhyama, only chanting in your heart, without vibrating with the tongue, then you can never be Rupanuga. Because this verse is the Upadesha Saram, the essence of all advice. And Srila Rupa Goswami Pad is the telling. The essence of all advice is that the tongue should be engaged in chanting and the mind should be engaged in remembering in the sequence Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananam, like that. So, and Srila Haridas Thakur has spoken here very long katha actually in Chaitanya Bhagavat to establish this point. And still people, I know Rupa Goswami said that and Haridas Thakur said this, but I heard Dr. X told me that it's better to chant in my mind even though Satyuga ended millions of years ago. So don't listen to this. What Shastra is saying, what our acharyas are saying, why do you have a doubt? Can they make it more clear than this? Can it be expressed more clearly?
Not manasik, Maharaj, Madhyama, as in like the voice goes down from the throat. You're still vibrating your tongue, the lips are still moving, but the voice is coming from the Madhyama, not from Vyakari.
No. That's what I explained earlier, that the sound is always coming from the para first, from the Mooladhara chakra, and it goes up, it goes through all the stages before it becomes Vaikari. So that you cannot chant Vaikari without Madhyama. It's impossible, because it happens very quickly, but that's how sound is produced. So it may be the product of the Prakrit Pran, or if one is surrendered and chanting under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnavas, in the mood of surrender, then it can be the manifestation of Aprakrita Pran. That Aprakrita Pran is Sri Krishna himself appearing in the form of Nam Prabhu. Okay, is it clear? Otherwise, you can explain to me the technique. How do you do it? What mental adjustment did you have to do to somehow make the sound go up and then be... It's not described anywhere in Shastra, I have not seen. Maybe you can describe it and write it down and we'll read it. So it's not wrong that the sound should be on the level of Madhyama. But the point that Sanatana Goswami is saying, because that is the heart. So he's saying that Manyamaye kirtamanaiva satanam lolatmakaika swaridis purat sprite means that I think the residents of Vaikuntha are saying that in our opinion the loud chanting of the holy name is better than Smaran, because Smaran is only manifest on the level of the heart, and the heart is an unstable medium. It's very unstable. So even if you manage to have a spurti, the spurti, it will be just like very, very unsteady. Whereas the tongue, the gross body is very steady. And so when the vibration is coming all the way up to the tongue, then what happens? The force of that chanting, Vachi swayukte manasi suto tata. He said when you chant loudly, the mind is automatically controlled without any effort. And divyat parang apakurvat atmavat means, and at the same time, not only you are purified, but all others who are hearing also get purified. So that person is 100 times more virtuous than the person who is chanting in the mic. Yes.
When you chant, say Hare Krishna in the beginning, Hare Krishna, and slowly the voice goes from here to this. So when in my discussion with Bhaji Maharaj, he says it's going from Vyakari to Madhyama, and always one should chant from the Madhyama level. So this was the conversation. This is so my question is, can everybody chant from the Madhyama level? That's the reason why I'm asking. Or is it only some qualification required for one to bring the voice from Vyakari to Madhyama and chant from Madhyama?
There is no... The process is to be in a mood of humility and begging for Krishna's mercy. Don't get into a yogic... Yeah? The yogis are always discussing about prans and chakras, and we have only told how it happens. But simply by chanting the holy name in a humble mood, then Krishna is attracted. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained everything in Shikshastakam. If we want to chant purely, then we have to chant without offense. Trinada Pisuni Chaina Tarori Vasishnana Amani Na Manarina Kirtanya Sadari. Mahaprabhu himself said that Ki Rupa Loyla name Prema Upajoy Tara Lakshan Slok Suno Swarup Ramarai. Hey Swarup Damodar, hey Roy Ramananda, now I'll explain to you the way in which one should take the holy name. The Prem will arise. And then he said, Trinada Pisuni Chaina. So the chanting of the holy name is not dependent on any kind of mechanical understanding of yoga sadhana. I only said what happens when you don't even have to know that. But I just said it so that you can understand how it is that the mind is automatically controlled by loud chanting. That. Not that you can get into some yogic understanding of I can improve my chanting by moving some prans around. Not like that. Niraparad nam loyle pai premadan. If one avoids the 10 offenses to the holy name, then Prem comes. That's all. You don't have to try some other whatever. You don't know what. Understand? So, because when the avidya clears, then you can say, oh, this heart chakra and the sound is here and there. When the avidya clears, then the relation you have with all your chakras is like the horns of a rabbit. Okay? So if you're thinking about your body and your chakras, and now you become like a yogi, and you're actually in Maya. Because when avidya clears, you have no relation with the body. That's now. That's actual now. Go to Prem.